This is where it happened when they were killed. My son, his wife, and a young man whom he gave shelter. All three of them at one moment. She was sitting here, her arm and leg torn off. Her final words were, "Take care of our children, Father." Why should I be frightened? What could frighten us, old people? I'm not afraid. Neither was my wife nor my son. To hide? There's nowhere here to hide if war breaks out. The roof on that house was completely destroyed. That one, on the street corner, where the car is turning now. It's been restored since. In the exercise book, I've written down every transformer box in Alexandrova, every work call I got, when shelling happened, which buildings were hit, who was killed, who was wounded. It's history. Sooner or later, you may need proof. This is what happened or didn't happen during the war. This is why I write it down. It's history. And history is fair and trustworthy. December 12, an attack on Trudovsky. One soldier was killed, another wounded. It happened after Biden and Putin talked. So you can see that Ukraine never hears us or anybody else. They do what they want. Deliberately, they try to provoke Russia to attack them. This is a photograph of my late son and his wife, killed on the same day, January 16, 2015. Russia doesn't need to take on this burden of Ukraine too. Why would it? It has never intended and is not going to, because she has enough on her plate already.
Earlier this fall, we heard a lot of dire warnings about supply chain problems leading to a crisis around the holidays. So we acted. A lot of recommendations of the people that you see on the screen here. I wish we were all able to do this in person. We brought together business and labor leaders to solve problems. And the much predicted crisis didn't occur. Packages are moving. Gifts are being delivered. Shelves are not empty. Experts in this field look at two statistics for retail inventories, which is how many good retailers have on hand, and a phrase on-shelf availability, which measures how many goods are actually on the shelves there to be purchased. Today, retail inventories are up 3% from last year. Inventories are healthy, and on-shelf availability before the pandemic was about 91%. Today, it's at 90%. 90%. I'm sure you can go and find some shelf where it's empty because a particular sort of gifts are very popular. I don't know. But 90% availability. And delivery times of this season for FedEx, UPS, and the U.S. Postal Service are faster than before the pandemic, even as Americans have purchased a record amount of goods. This is in part due to the progress we've made at our nation's ports, which are now moving historic amounts of goods. You know, after working with our administration, the ports of Los Angeles and Long Beach have nearly cut in half the number of those great big containers you see sitting on a dock for more than 8 days. This is striking progress since November. In fact, right now, the number of containers moving through our ports is higher than ever.
You
led the government of the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region under the decisions of the National People's Congress and the legislation of the National People's Congress Standing Committee to systematically modify and improve Hong Kong's electoral system, and successfully held elections for the Election Committee and the Legislative Council, which took solid steps as a manifestation of the people's democratic rights. The Hong Kong government resolutely implemented the Hong Kong National Security Law, stopped violence and chaos under the law, corrected chaos, maintained the authority and dignity of the rule of law, and took administrative measures to promote the integration of the Special Administrative Region into the overall development of China's developing landscape, comprehensively deepened exchanges and cooperation with the mainland. The central government fully affirmed your work.
Offloaded from the back of a truck in this Abuja dump site. These are some of the more than 1 million expired AstraZeneca vaccines destroyed in Nigeria on Wednesday. The destruction came more than a week after health authorities said some donated COVID-19 doses had a shelf life that only left weeks to administer the shots. The National Primary Healthcare Development Agency Executive Director Faisal Shawab reassured those wary of the shots.
We have come through in our promise to all Nigerians to be transparent in our delivery of vaccines. These vaccines did not expire before we took the decision to withdraw them. Today is an opportunity for Nigerians to have further faith in our vaccination program.
Nigeria's health minister has said the country will no longer accept vaccines with a short shelf life, citing a presidential committee decision. Health experts say Nigeria needs to triple its vaccination drive from just over 100,000 doses a day to meet its target to inoculate more than half its population by the end of next year. Nigeria has recently seen a surge in vaccine supply, which has highlighted other issues relating to distribution and hesitation by citizens to roll up their sleeves.
Well, it's already dominant in a couple of countries, like the United Kingdom, Portugal, Denmark. I think it will take maybe a couple of weeks. So yes, I'm very concerned, but there is no reason for panic. But sick also with symptoms or no symptoms? There is no doubt that Europe once again is the epicenter of the global pandemic. The top 10 countries with the highest mortality are in Europe and Central Asia. Last week we had 27,000 extra COVID-19 deaths, 2.6 million new infections last week, which is 40% higher than the same period last year. And now we have Omicron taking over. The good news is, because it's important to give people the hope, there is optimism, we know what to do. To go on camera again, yes. Okay. This virus has surprised us more than once. So I would say, I don't know when it will finish, but I think that we're on track, that our life will normalize next year, particularly if, we don't know, but if Omicron would be less severe, but it can go both ways. The key issue is, how do we survive the winter? How do we leave no one behind? But in South Africa, or disadvantages?